Da, 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 da. All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning,
Good
Singap.
morning.
Yeah, you just woke up.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay. So what shall the front page be? Reddit. I don't know. We don't even talk about Reddit Malaysia. How's everyone doing?
Well, there hasn't been as many posts lately.
I think they post every day. I don't visit it every day, so I don't really know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am tired today.
Why?
Too many days in a row where I had weird schedules and stuff like that. Just very irregular sleep patterns.
Mhm.
Yeah. How about you? Well, you just woke up from a
Another
nap,
week.
which is nice.
Just another week, man.
Yeah. Today I woke up
Yes.
late. Like I went to bed about 4, and then woke up about
Hold on.
10, and then I went back to bed and woke up at 1, I think. Yeah. It was good sleeping in. Yesterday when I woke up, it was the first time in a while where I checked my phone to see what day it was, and I was happy it was a Friday. I'm like, yeah. Like, this is what I used to look forward to when I was working. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I started work on Wednesday. So, I've been working.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yeah. I've
Congratulations.
been working for the past 3 days. So, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Do you guys just do like?
Sorry?
Oh, do you guys just do video chats for work then?
It's been voice chats, no video at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not necessary, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So been working from home. We use Microsoft Teams. It's a new experience for me. Never used it before. And
Those be like
Mhm.
Slack.
it is. It's okay. I don't know. Like I'm only on like somehow I don't know. Like my account is limited, so I can't really add custom apps to it, which is kind of
Mm-hmm.
like sucky. But yeah, whatever. It works as a communication client. So during working hours, we use Teams, and after work, I guess it's WhatsApp. But yeah, and then other stuff, email.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you create any content that's publicly available already?
No, not yet. I do have my first assignment, which yeah, I started work on yesterday, but it's not coming out soon yet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where does it
Cool.
get published to?
ig.network, the
Oh.
website, yeah,
Okay.
and shared on Facebook and Twitter, I guess, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll read
What's the
it.
first topic?
I probably won't understand it.
Oh, the first piece I got assigned was an profile piece of an, I guess, upcoming Cambodian streamer.
Oh, have you heard of that person before?
No, I have not. Yeah, but his content is all in Cambodian, so I hope he can understand my questions.
You have to interview him, is it?
Yeah, I have to interview him.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I mean,
You gotta Duolingo that Cambodian.
or hopefully he can use Google Translate or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I haven't started speaking to him yet, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It feels good to be back at work again. Yeah, after
Mm-hmm.
4 months. Yeah. How's your week, Kristen?
It was good. It was good. Are we gonna do what we learned this week?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I didn't prepare anything. What popped into my head was I learned how to use this app called Descript. So I was researching apps for transcribing podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it's Descript, and also another one called Sonics.ai that's popularly used. I tried both. Sonics is really good in terms of the transcription. It gets like almost every word right just from machine.
Mm-hmm.
So both of them offer white glove service, but you gotta pay a lot per minute, and I cannot afford that.
What is a white glove service?
That means it's a person that they pay who
Oh,
will
okay.
actually listen to it and like fix it. Yeah, so if you choose the machine version, it's just a guess. But Sonics is really close to the mark. But it's very expensive because you have to pay a monthly fee and you have to pay $5 per hour of transcription.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then I tried another one called Descript, and I was more excited about this one because so you can edit the transcript, and then when you cut out a word, like if I say and I don't like that, then it deletes it from the video and it clips it for you, so
Yeah.
you skip the ums and the weird fillers and whatnot.
Oh wow, that's
So
pretty cool.
yeah, so it's like both transcript editing and matching video editing and audio at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's really powerful. And it has this non-public access function called overdub, where I can train it to deepfake someone's voice, and I can actually edit the text, and it will like fix the audio for me too,
Oh wow.
and put words into some people's mouths.
Like we
So
could
I've
have
requested
whole episodes without one of us.
Exactly. Well, we don't even have to be here.
Yeah.
We can just type out the whole thing.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but they're limiting access right now.
You have episodes with none of us here, right? It's like red run.
Exactly. We can just type out our dialogue.
Yeah.
Just fake our whole voices. And if we do deep fake, just we don't even need to be here. What's the point?
It's
So
good 'cause
exciting
you
technology.
you can backlog content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
we could just record like 5 episodes in a row and then,
Mm-hmm.
we can just push them out once a week as well.
Right. So the downside of Descript is that the transcript, the machine one, it's like 70% accurate instead of
Mhm.
Sonic, which is close to 90.
Okay.
So I do a lot of manual work. Like, oh my gosh, this is like so off. And it's not even me with my accent, it's my friend with the perfect American accent. I'm like,
That's weird.
So it's all the time fixing. Yeah.
I guess maybe we speak with no accents. Like, actually, I don't even know how no accent sounds like.
Exactly. What is that? Like the perfect Midwestern TV accent? No one has that.
Yeah.
So
Speak like
Yeah.
Google Translate, I guess.
hmm
Yeah.
Right. And it's also made me very self-conscious of like even us right now when we are all talking at the same time, the transcript gets messed up.
Mm.
So it has to be quite clear as to when it's our turn to talk.
Oh, I see. What are you doing with these transcripts? Like, what do you want them for?
So I feel with the other podcasts, like it's very long form content. In fact, I don't know if anyone's listening to this, but so it's just a way for people who like to read to get the content too. Because like I think we've talked about this before. I'm not listening to long podcasts right now. So
Yeah.
I would rather read something right now. So I want to have that additional option for anyone who's interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Singip? How's your week?
Same old. I learned how to cook new stuff. I guess.
What do you learn this week?
Oh, what is it?
I learned how to cook watan pork.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that your first time? I
yeah.
thought you cooked it before.
That's my first time.
Oh. So what was it perfect on the first try?
Yeah, actually I wouldn't like if I ordered it at a restaurant I wouldn't be mad.
Oh, that's good. Maybe you can sell it and finally become a chef.
Nah, it's actually quite a lot of work.
Oh. Is it? I don't know, but usually watan ho is like one of the fastest dishes they cook in the restaurant. I mean, I guess they have all the ingredients prepared, but like cooking it
Yeah,
It's
so
quick,
like
right?
when you do it yourself it's like So much slower.
I'll help you prepare and then you cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Kristen can deliver
I'll eat.
it.
So what is in watanho? I feel like it's actually a dish I never order. Is it like noodles and egg?
It's
What else is there?
It's
Cantonese
noodles and egg
fried.
gravy. Yeah.
It's your hometown dish.
I only like char kway teow.
Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind learning how to make char kway teow next time.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be harder though. Like it's not difficult to fry noodles, but I think it's difficult to fry it right.
Do you have a jet engine at home to like fry it in?
No.
I feel like that's so important is to have that high heat.
Yeah.
High heat.
Mm. So what made you decide to cook watanho as opposed to other dishes?
Well, I mean the fact that I can't go out, so I myself bring the dai chow to me.
Did you film a video?
No, I mean there wasn't really much like. There's really nothing much to it. Yeah.
How come you only did one day, one video or something? One day video. You haven't done any other days.
I got bored.
Why?
I keep the same.
No. Fine, you
I
get,
was very impressed.
you know,
that
I was
video.
looking forward to the next installment.
Maybe I'll do like a.
Do.
I did record like a few clips now and then.
Yeah, do a weekly
Oh.
summary thing, you know?
So maybe like I'll do like
And then put it on YouTube so I can link it.
I'll do like a
Yeah.
MCO roundup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like contrastly you watch it, it's like all you do is eat and play computer.
Yeah.
But that's like my everyday life, so like there's no reason to like record every day of the same thing.
And I feel like it's like modern art, you know? The fact that you're doing the same thing every single day is in itself an art form.
Maybe if I
It's the kind of
compile it,
stuff you see on MoMA.
maybe if I compile it, then it might be better. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watch
And
the
plus,
same
what
thing every
whole-
day, it'll be so boring, right?
What the heck is Concha doing that's so different every day?
He has a daughter, like you know that stuff makes for like great content. Like one loves seeing babies and kids, right? So
I guess. But that's not him making it every day different. That's his daughter doing the work. So I don't think his criticism is bad.
he doesn't know that.
Oh. How about you, George? What have you learned today? Or this week?
This week was well, I blogged about it. The origin of the pirate accent. Because I was watching a video,
yeah, that was a good one.
a video game trailer, and like the narrator was, you know, imitating the pirate accent, like "Arr, this new update," and I can't do it, but then I just started thinking to myself, like, do all pirates sound like that? Like, it can't be true, right? So I googled it, and yeah, it turns out it was because of a very popular film, Treasure Island, where Robert Newton, yeah, like put on that accent, and that movie was real popular, and everyone followed suit. So like all we know of like fantasy pirates are because of Hollywood and the media. I guess they weren't really like that. But yeah, that was something I learned this week, and I thought it was really interesting enough to blog about it.
Weren't you obsessed with this video game with Guybrush Threepwood?
Oh, Monkey Island?
It's about
Yeah.
insulting Monkey Island. That's what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
That's what it
I
reminded me
enjoyed
of.
playing it back in the day. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So like, I guess there are a lot
So-
of things that we assume they are the way they are because of what we've seen in the media, but in reality they're not. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a pirate museum in Sentosa, Singapore.
Oh, okay.
Sponsor us, Pirate Museum, where they talked about the various pirate stereotypes and how there are a lot of Asian pirates that we don't know about,
Yeah. Apparently now
and female pirates.
they're like
captains.
pirates in like from Indonesia or something, or in Southeast Asia at least, like in the oceans. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think
Not
majority
new
of
though,
them,
right?
not new, as in, but majority of them have pretty much died out. There's only very few like pirates around these days. Yeah.
The Somali ones? That's recent.
That's not that recent.
Oh, really? Or maybe the
Yeah.
Tom Hanks movie makes it seem like it's very
Oh
recent.
yeah, the Tom Hanks one. When was that? Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
2013. Yes, that was 7 years ago. And
Oh,
I
dang.
think I saw like some Vice. Is it? No, Channel News Asia or something did like a documentary on how these group of negotiators spent like like 1 or 2 years or something to free this group of sailors who were captured by Somalian pirates.
okay,
Yeah, it's quite an interesting watch. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I can
they're
add.
describing like the back and forth between like the like pirates have a negotiator,
Uh huh.
so like they have to build relationships with him and like go back and forth to try and like come to some kind of amicable agreement.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'll include that video in the show notes.
Yeah, I want to know what happens, but I guess I shouldn't spoil myself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a happy ending. So
Okay.
it's just like the process was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
There. Speaking of negotiation, one of the master classes is about this guy who negotiates with terrorists,
Okay.
and he teaches you the techniques behind that. I mean, I've read his book before, and it's sort of like it's not super easy to summarize. It's not like you do A, B, and C, and the terrorists will release your hostages or something like that. But it's like very subtle techniques about how you have to learn to use their language, and it's not like just speaking the same language, but it's like specific words they use, and then like this. I think the story of how essentially there is this like sisters, right? They both want to have the last lemon or something like that, and then like they were arguing about it, and in the end they cut the lemon in half, and then each got half a lemon, and you would think, okay, that means they negotiated and got the best deal possible, right? But it turns out one of the sisters wanted to use the lemon peel to make something, and the other one wanted to juice. So actually both got not 50% of what they wanted, but they could easily have gotten 100%.
Yeah.
So like the idea of a good negotiation is you need to be able to resolve that, and you actually can both get what you want if you can get down to what you really, really want.
Mm. What if like
Yeah.
the bad guys want like $1 billion?
Well, then you start to question like, what would you do with the $1 billion? Is
Okay.
it because you want to, like it's like the initial one is never the story of what they really want, that kind of thing.
Sounds
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
So it's like you
Yeah.
could give them 1 billion worth of what they want instead of actual cash. Then
Exactly. If they're willing to share with you, like, it's because like I want my family to be happy or whatever, then you try to figure out, okay, what else can make your family happy that's worth that much kind of thing.
okay,
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's one of those master classes that I don't know whether I'll ever sit through it, but it's there.
Yeah.
yeah, there's so many like different topics. It's actually quite interesting.
Hmm.
Okay. Cool. I haven't tried logging into the masterclass yet, but I've been watching Money Heist, and they have negotiations in that series.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how realistic it is, but it's quite clever. Yeah. Basically, terrorists.
What are some scenarios?
Like the terrorists say, oh, we'll release 8 hostages if you send in an ambulance or send in a surgeon to help remove a bullet from one of our wounded people and stuff like that. So the police have to decide whether they want to like appear good to the eyes of the public, because the public are fans of these robbers. Like they have a message and it's quite a long story, but yeah, stuff like that. It's quite interesting to see what kind of negotiation tactics they use to gain leverage against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right.
Speaking of heists, so I finally watched In Bruges, which is
Yeah.
a movie George recommended a long time ago.
Yeah.
And okay, so here's the thing. I put off watching it because I was totally judging it by the title. I was like, In Bruges, what does that even mean? Like, that sounds really boring. And like, when I watched like the screenshots of it, I thought, oh, it looks so rainy and gloomy.
Yeah.
Like, what depressing film. But then you'd explain that as a comedy, and so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give it. And it's only like an hour-ish.
Yeah.
But it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, Singer, do you remember watching it? Like, what the
Yeah, I
plot
think I
is?
watched it, but I guess it didn't really stick with me because I don't really remember much about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so without spoiling the plot, it's kind of like a Coen Brothers movie where there's a lot of little events that seem like they don't matter, but then in the end you see that it loops back to some incident that happens later, and you're like, oh, I see the cause and effect of life. It's like very little minute things add up to very significant events. So also I like those kind of movies because I think they're really hard to write well. Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
incorporate
definitely.
so much detail.
Stuff like Magnolia, Crash, shit, I can't remember. A whole bunch of there are a lot of movies that are like that, which I really enjoy watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. But In Bruges has humor, so like that makes it so enjoyable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Though it's very, very dark. I would say that it's more dark than humor.
It's a fucking fairy tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like in terms of marketing, they could have used a better name, I think.
I don't know. I mean,
If they had used something less obscure.
I guess maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, I do highly recommend it. It's a very clever film.
And yeah, the director and his brother, they've done a bunch of movies, and a lot of them are like in similar style, dark comedy, but very different plots. But yeah, all very enjoyable as well.
What else
Yeah.
have they done?
What, 3 Billboards Outside?
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that
really good. Yeah. Then the God, I think, wait, I forgot the title of the film. Yeah, Martin McDonough. 7 Psychopaths.
Oh,
Yeah, in Bruges. Then yeah, The God. That one stars Don Cheadle. Super funny as well. Yeah, I recommend that.
Yeah. It reminds me of The Big Lebowski. I think that's what.
Oh yeah, Big Lebowski is really good too.
Yeah. And because in terms of like, you can see that the main character, similar to Big Lebowski, he starts to pick up on what other people say and repeats it, which is very similar to real life. I think we tend to repeat what other people say without even realizing we're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, War on Everyone, Calvary is good too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and before the stream started, George was mentioning how he might have to pick up something from his, or like bring down something for your sister.
Yeah, in a while.
And then, yeah, but then I got confused because I thought his sister lived in Austin, but it's his other sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I was wondering if George wants to talk about what Austin was like in his 10-day journey, because I've never been to Austin, and I heard it's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, maybe because I was there as a tourist. It was very nice. Like, I was mostly in Austin. We spent one day in... Oh, shit, what's that name? Where's the place where the Alamo?
Oh. Okay.
Oh my god. San Antonio, yeah. We spent a day in San Antonio. We visited the Alamo there, and that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see like the old buildings that were still standing, and we learned about the history of the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and oh, it was really cold when I was there. I expected like Texas to be hotter. I guess I don't know, stereotype. You'd think it's a hot place, but like
Mm-hmm.
the day I landed there was actually the hottest day of the like my whole trip there, and it was, well, I think it was, I don't know, 10 degrees or something Celsius, and like
Mm-hmm.
it got super cold like all the way until I can't remember what how cold it was when I during the final days. But yeah, I was basically freezing
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't bring any winter clothing, and like I didn't think it would be cold. So I was like always in my hoodie or jacket. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As for Texas, Austin,
It was your first trip.
I had visited them like the previous year, during like one of my trips to the US for work, and I had like
Mm.
2 days, so I took 2 days off to hang out with my family there. Yeah, so this was my second time around, and I got to see much more of the place. There's a lot of like different kinds of food there, so it's like similar to New York.
Mm-hmm.
You can find all sorts of food there, like compared to other parts of the states that I've been to, where the cuisine is much more limited. And then the nightlife like is real happening. My sister took me to some place. I don't remember all the names now, but like they had lots of live bands, many different bars, and all. It reminded me of like I guess Bangkok, but less seedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all just loads of drunk people walking around, like loud music, partying, and all. That was real fun. And apparently, I think
Mm-hmm.
the the day after I left, there was a shooting in that area. So I guess I missed
Oh.
a shooting by one night. Yeah,
Mm.
but that was a fun place. And then, oh yeah, I brought Snuggles to Austin, so I was playing with
Mm.
her a lot. You know, she got to run
Mm.
around a lot, and it was very nice for dogs there because like everywhere, pretty much dogs are allowed unless they specifically say no dogs. Yeah, so it was like quite a different experience. Seeing like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just me with the dog, like a lot of other people had dogs there too. That was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dog friendly state.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I remember you wrote a really good piece on exporting Snuggles, which is a
yeah.
very complicated process. So if you want to know how to export, or is it called exporting travel with your pet from Malaysia to the US, check out George's blog. I guess that's your most famous entry.
Yeah. Well, if you have money, just pay someone to do it. You don't have
Mm,
to do it yourself. Yeah. It's
DIY.
quite a lot of hassle to do so.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my the other topic I had written on here is how not to be tired, how to continue creative projects even when you feel so tired and drained.
Oh,
Okay.
how do you do
So it's
that?
kind of meta. Yeah, because like okay, so for viewers, like clearly George is the one who's driving this whole stream at the moment because every week at the end of the week I'm going. "Oh, I'm so tired. Okay, but then okay now I have a social obligation. I will do this stream. But normally this is the point where I would give up if I'm doing it alone. I'll just be
Yeah.
like, I'll do it later, and that would not be the end of that. So I feel like so far it seems like social obligation is helping for getting
Mhm.
creative projects to not die.
Yeah.
And then like I was also suggesting we make this shorter because I feel like that's the thing that makes it scary. Like once I start talking, I feel like okay, yeah, it's fine. But it's like the idea of talking for an hour seems so hard that I had to like shrink it by half in my mind.
Yeah.
But
once I
depends,
start, I'm
right?
fine.
Like if you have stuff to talk about, then it's like you hang out with friends and you guys just talk about stuff, and then like before you know it, like 2 hours has passed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess if you have something to talk about, then I guess it's less of a chore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, for me, like I find, even though I do feel lazy occasionally, but I just force myself to start, and once you get into the groove, it just works out. Like you feel like continuing until you like accomplish something. So like I don't know, like my comic, I haven't done a chapter this week yet, which is because
Mm-hmm.
I started work, so I haven't been able to. But yeah, I was planning to do it today. So yeah,
So, mhm.
after this chat, I'll resume work on my comic. Well, like
Mm-hmm.
I could be doing other things like watching shows or playing games or what. I just choose to do work, and that's how it happens. Like I guess you just have
Mm-hmm.
to force yourself to start, and once you start, yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
how I do it anyway.
So, have you been working on? So I know you've been working on a story, and I think the outline's really good. So have you worked on the next stage yet?
No, I haven't even started yet. I have a lot of good ideas, but I never like
Mm-hmm.
flesh them out.
Well, you should,
So what if you just shared only the ideas? Like, would you feel like you lost out because you didn't share the actual thing instead of the outline?
What do you mean?
Like, because I think your outline's really good. Like, in a way, you didn't have to write the story because I already imagined in my mind how it would have gone to create that plot outline. But I know
Okay.
that you would never share that plot outline because you think it's a draft.
Oh, you mean like share the draft with you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't even written anything yet, so nothing to share. But would I share a draft
But you
if I
have
had
because
a
I read
draft?
it.
Sorry?
But you have written it because I read the thing.
But that wasn't. You mean the one I shared with you online? The Google Docs, is it?
Right. So
Yeah,
for the
that
viewer
was
listener,
was that we consider that a draft? I thought that was more like an outline.
yes. So I feel so you had originally told me just like a one sentence idea, and I thought, okay, that's
All
really
right.
good. And then
Okay.
you've expanded that to essentially every beat of the plot is already written out. And I thought, okay, this is a really solid story. It has like enough twists and turns to make it interesting.
But isn't
And
that what we learn in
then
school though? Like you have to outline your essay before you start writing.
Mm-hmm.
right. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm trying to question the school model of like, oh, you shouldn't show people what
Ah,
you're doing until it's done. Because I feel like
okay,
it's
okay.
already good enough to share with the world. I think like for me, I also have lots of these like outlines only and like no actual written things. And I don't share it because I'm scared. This is a very Elizabeth Gilbert theory that like I didn't honor the story already have a life of its own, and I didn't honor it by giving it to life. And then if I share that, then it will run away.
I actually never thought of it that way. I don't even think of it that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm. Yeah, I
So,
was
but
Hang
planning
then
to
on.
it's
take
like
I was
it's not
planning
to
to
your
take this
standard.
weekend. Sorry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was planning to take this weekend to maybe do a bit of writing. But it's like
Mm-hmm.
4 p.m. on Saturday and I haven't done anything.
Right, but I feel like are you because that's where we're similar. We don't like to share our first drafts, like at all. And I was wondering, like, let's just say, like, you just have to share the crappy draft today. Would you
Okay.
share it? That kind of
Uh
thing. Because I feel like
yeah, I would
that's
share
where I
amongst like friends that I want their feedback from. I wouldn't publish it, but I would. Yeah, I guess I would share it. Yeah.
All right. Can you guys?
Are you?
Yeah, I have to go down for like 5 minutes, and I'll be back. But you guys can
Yes, we
continue
can
with the show.
continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. PRP.
Yeah. So I feel like I have these stories too that are like half written or like not finished. But like it's almost like two ends. There is like the idea of like, okay, I wanted to get it to at least like a decent state, like because this is like just not even decent. But there's also like the venue of where do I put this when it's done? Like because it's you have to put in the work to publish it, and I know there's many steps to do with that. Do you think about those steps as well?
In terms of like reaching an audience, I think it's not that hard nowadays thanks to the internet. Like the easiest way, just go publish on your own blog. It's just a matter of are people going to read your blog in the first place, right? And then I guess another place would be Reddit. Reddit is pretty good. Yeah. But actually,
so,
I was watching Masterclass the other day, and then Neil Gaiman was talking about how he had the idea for the Graveyard Book when he was quite young. And then when he went back to write it, he realized that he didn't have the necessary skills to realize his idea, right? So he put it aside and then revisited it like much later on. So yeah, I mean that's what I feel too. Like all my ideas sound better in my head than it does when it's written. Like it just doesn't come out the right way. So I'm not sure if it's I do not have the skills yet to achieve that style that I'm aiming for. You know. Yeah.
So does the course try to teach you more styles? Yeah, tell me more about the Neil Gaiman course. Again, I want the shortcut. I don't want to listen to the whole thing.
Actually, I don't know. I just leave it running in the background and I just pick up little pieces of interesting anecdotes that he mentions every now and then. So that was one of them that came to mind. But like you said, right, with Masterclass, I'm not sure. Okay, I haven't seen the rest of Masterclass. I only watched Neil Gaiman's, but you did mention last time that it's less of a how-to, right? It's more like the thought process of the person who's teaching the class, right? So yeah, it's the same with Neil Gaiman's Masterclass. It's just like more of his process rather than you need to do this, and that, right? Because I guess to be fair, it works differently for everyone. So you can't really have a one size fits all kind of formula to give you, you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
so that was my takeaway from the masterclass.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm wondering for me if I'm stalling because I never really show anybody like the work in. In fact, you're better than me. At least you're showing me a work in progress now. I don't even show you anything when it comes to my fiction. Yeah, and then there's like this more. Yeah, I think I totally relate to the whole like it comes out not the way I think of it in my head. It's so much better.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah. So I wonder if there's any way I can like maybe I should show you my writing. And now I'm thinking about it. Why don't I just show you? This is completely not reciprocal. So
yeah, you can show me. I mean, I don't mind taking a look. I mean, like sometimes when George showed me his animal bus story, I was actually quite inspired by it because I'm like, wow, he actually finished like a whole story, right? And it's like not too bad. Like you could edit it obviously, but then like it's quite cohesive, you know? As a whole, it's like relatively cohesive. So that was like quite inspiring. Like you know, like he can do it, so can I. You know, like we can all do it.
All right, sorry guys, I'm back.
Oh, we were just saying nice things about you.
I will watch the VOD when it's done.
Actually, we're being honest. We're saying how you're very inspiring, and then you walked in. Yeah, we were
Yes,
talking about
organic.
how, yeah, how, like actually Singip's doing a better job of showing me his work in progress than I am, because I do have some fiction writing I've been sitting on
Mm-hmm.
that kind of died because I got stuck. Since when I read what I wrote, I'm like, this is not very good compared to what I envision as a good story. What the heck happened?
You know
Yeah,
what
and
I
I
think
feel
would
like
be
I was
helpful?
too ambitious too.
Like if you could see the first drafts
Mm-hmm.
of published authors, then at least I
Yeah.
feel like that would be like, oh, so that's what like a first draft's supposed to look like, right? Like it looks nothing like the final product.
Mm-hmm.
Then you feel like, oh, okay, you know, I'm not alone then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But right now you're just reading like their finished and polished work, right? And then you're like, oh man, I'll never get that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you never know how many revisions they had to go through before
Yeah,
they.
yeah. So like it's just like it'll be nice to like see what their first draft was like. You know?
Yeah. But also, then you think, what if that was their first draft? Then it's already this good.
Oh, that I guess it's quite demoralizing.
Right. But I think like, so my draft, and I'll show you after this, is the bones of like a novel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think like that's where I was overly ambitious. I've never written even a decent fictional short story
Okay.
before, but I went straight for like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a novel. So that's already first maybe not the wisest approach. And then after that, the, I don't know how people like George R.R. Martin do this, where they can have this very rich world with a lot of components going on in their head all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for me, when I'm trying to write a story, I feel like it's just two people talking in a blank room or something. Like there's absolutely no like the texture to the story,
Yeah.
because my brain can't conjure up every single detail without using too much exposition,
Yeah.
because I hate exposition. I hate it when I read a story and it's like the author just telling you what's happening instead of
Yeah.
the characters like going through the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like that's where I struggle, is like trying to maintain a rich world in my head where I can also jump back in, because like once I stop, I'll go through like a period of like, okay, several days I'll write in a row, and then drop the project for a year and then be like, oh, what was I thinking about again? Like it's just that story is lost.
Yeah.
So it's interesting
But-
how you say that Neil Gaiman was able to pick back up the Graveyard Book, because I don't think it's easy for me to pick something back up.
No, but it could be that he came back with like a better vision for it than the original, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not bad to take a break and give yourself some objectivity, you know.
Mm.
Unless you mean like the technical parts of it where you forget what you've been writing about and you lose the plot, you know.
Yeah. And I've been trying to use the snowflake method to counter all of this.
What's that?
So that's the idea that you almost write. So the snowflake has like a increasingly complex structure.
Yeah.
So the idea is like you start off writing just one sentence that describes your entire plot. So it's very similar to what you did. One sentence, and then you break it out into like, 3 to 5 sentences with all the twists and turns. And then you would flesh out each of the character and then go back and write in between. So it's like you add, instead of like an outline or like free writing, it's sort of like a different structure for you to build a story where theoretically at any point in time you have a whole story, instead of like having not thought out all the entire plot. So I think inadvertently you did that, like with
But
your outline.
Isn't that what outlines are supposed to do?
So this approach, there's a little bit more to it, where you go back and forth between the characters and the plot, so that you're using each other to flesh them out. So with the characters, you would build them by asking what are their core values, and then so that you can have a reasonable like rationale as to what they try to do in the story. So there's like a bit of feedback mechanism involved.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so I did all that, but I feel like I already forgot 90% of what I did.
You didn't
I
write
need
it
to dig it
down?
out. I did, but it's sort of like even if I wrote it down, the detail doesn't come through after I put it down for a while. You know, like there was a live character, and the character became more flat after I put it down.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that would depend on what kind of story you want to write. Like like what I
It's a
do,
sci-fi.
yeah, I'm not very good at world building, and because
Mm.
it's not something that I've like done a lot of, and so I set a lot of my stories like in real life or very close to what the real world is like, and that way
Mm-hmm.
you don't really have to spend time developing the world because people know what.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if you're writing a sci-fi story, then world building is actually quite a big component of it. Like, have you been to the world building subreddit? You see, like,
No.
yeah, it's on the screen right now. But basically, it's a subreddit for where writers come together and they pitch their own ideas of their worlds, and then they get feedback and so on. But a lot of these people, like, they just come up with worlds, and like it's very detailed. The from like the types of people, the races, their professions, how does the
Mm-hmm.
logic of magic, like how does it work in their world? Do they use mana or what,
Mm.
all that kind of stuff? Like
Mm-hmm.
they flesh it out before they like progress with creating the story or comic or whatever from it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
There
think
was
you gave me a book, right, on world building.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
It's like I'm projecting my lack onto a gift to you.
Yeah, I didn't finish it yet, but I did go through
Mm-hmm.
the first couple of chapters. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's an art in itself creating a world,
Mm-hmm.
and like I guess it's something that shouldn't be overlooked if you're planning to write fantasy or sci-fi. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was trying to create one that's more it's not like distant sci, it's like a near future sort of sci-fi, so it cannot be too outrageous too.
Sure, but you
But that's
still
cool
have
though.
to,
I mean that
put
I check out
in
this.
the rules and like how far in the
Mm-hmm.
future, like do we have teleportation yet, or what sort of stuff like is
Mm-hmm.
different. Yeah. So I guess with when
Mm-hmm.
you have a world like that is set and you know exactly how like things will react, or how things will play out when something happens, then I guess it would make it
Mm-hmm.
easier to write your story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But go on. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I
the
was thinking it
book
was
that
gonna say
you
something.
the book that you gave George. I have that too. I think it's like
Oh,
it
I like
has the
how you know which
potential
one it
to
is.
be a which one?
I like how you know which one it is.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of potential, but I haven't really read through it either.
It's a really hard to read book because I think I got
Because like all
myself a
the
copy.
pages are
I've
like
never really
differently
read it.
designed. It's like not like
Mhm.
yeah.
It's a
But
beautiful looking book. Yeah.
It's a good book. It's a
Yes.
beautiful book.
I like the idea of having the book as like a
It's a coffee table
table
book.
book. It's so dense for some reason. For a book with pictures.
Yeah.
It is a world in itself. So
Mhm.
they achieved what they're setting out to do. Yeah.
But I guess the main thing is it boils down to just keep working on it. Like at least some progress is
Mm.
better than no progress. Even if you do
Maybe I need to show
a,
it to you guys. I think I
like
got stuck in.
a page a day is better than 0 pages in a year. No matter how fantastic the idea is, like it's better to
Mhm.
have
That's true.
something.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess I
Wise
need to
words.
show you guys.
Yeah, do share it.
Wise words from the Animal Bus author.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, another thing about putting your work online is you hold yourself accountable to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I read. When you inform the world of your intentions,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you will be more likely to follow up. That's why
I
people
thought there's
do.
mixed research on that.
Yeah.
I read it's also the opposite though. Like if you don't tell anybody what you're doing, you're more likely to do it too.
You think so?
I think the motivational psychology here is not clear.
But I think it
I
depends on
think
the
it
individual,
depends.
right?
Like if
Like
Yeah, and the
tell
type
if you
of
don't like
people.
if you don't like feeling the pressure of being accountable, then
Mm-hmm.
it's probably not the method for you.
But
Yeah,
the
and I think some
pressure
people
could
take.
help.
I mean, you know yourself best, right? So you do what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, and some people take the like high of telling someone they're gonna do something as a reward in itself, and then they get demotivated after that. So I think it only works for some people and not others.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't tell. I think like by the time we see your stuff, it's usually already finished. I think you rarely use this accountability method.
I mean, I tried it for a few things in the past,
Mm-hmm.
but the
Mm-hmm.
only I guess success I've had is with animal bus. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it's something I tried lah. I told people that I'm developing a game, or I'm gonna record a new EP, or I'm gonna write in a story and whatnot. But in the end,
Mm-hmm.
at least I've done one thing, which is Animal Bus. I said I was gonna do, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it, and like I think
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's better than zero. Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, I'll give it a try. Well, first, I'm going to look into good software for organizing my writing.
Mhm.
Actually, any recommendations? Because I think like that's the other messy part. I have a bunch of notes, but I tried using Scrivener, but I feel like it's makes it even more complicated than it has to be. But I don't know. Like, what do you guys suggest? I know Singap's tried a few.
I tried Scrivener too, and then
Hmm.
but the UI was a bit complicated for me. Like
People swear
it
by
made it,
that,
yeah, but
right?
you're right. It made it more. It made it feel like my work was more messy.
Huh.
Yeah.
Ulysses was
So what do you use now?
interesting too. No, I just use Google Docs.
Mm.
I mean, like
Oh,
because
okay.
like
I
a
think
lot
I
of my
might just use
projects,
Google Docs too.
because a lot of my projects haven't really taken off yet, right? So maybe if like it starts getting a bit more complicated, then I'll look into more advanced solutions. But I think for now, I think Google
Mm-hmm.
Docs gets the job done just fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me as well, I use Google Docs. I didn't use any other advanced programs for organizing my texts. I have Google Keep for a lot of notes that I make on my phone, so they're synced
Mm-hmm.
to the cloud. But yeah, majority of my writings on Google Docs or Microsoft Word or whatever. No, nothing fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's the idea of showing someone the totally not done version of something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
which I think comes from the fact that like my dreams are too big. I think some of these creative projects, especially, um, my
I
initial
don't think you
idea
should say that
has to
though.
be like changing the world. Yeah, and which I'm now I've like learned over time that that's not the way to go. I should try to make them as small as possible.
Mm-hmm.
No, you should make your dreams.
So have you guys?
Don't be afraid of your dreams.
The big dreams are not happening.
Yeah, so they're still dreams,
So-
but you just haven't realized them yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I see that the other tactic people use is to, instead of writing a novel, Like when you have no like, it's almost like us saying you've gone from no running to I'm gonna run a marathon. Like
Yeah.
there's no, it's not actually good training. So instead, you should write, or like one should write a short story, which actually is more technically difficult because you have less space to create an emotional moment, right? But have you? And I feel like you guys use writing. At least George does a lot of r/writing prompts. Do you think that's helped you write faster and more creatively?
I don't know. Like, I think it has helped, but I don't know how. Probably the fact
I
that
guess it's just practice, lah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's just practice.
it's definitely very good practice. But like, in terms of advancing my writing technique, I'm not sure. But you do feel like good when you manage to like successfully write a topic, and like you can tell yourself that, oh yeah, I can write this kind of story, you know. So it does, like a lot of these prompts are stuff that I guess I would have normally wouldn't have written out on my own, but because I had the instructions to follow, that I could expand the kind of writing I did. So it helped in that sense, yeah.
But you submit them to Reddit, though.
Yeah, I do.
So like, I mean, like all the feedback that you get should help improve you like technically.
The main problem is like every time I get around to submitting it, the thread is really quite old, so I don't get much feedback. Yeah.
You should move faster.
Yeah, well, I'm not browsing it 24/7, you know. Yeah. The thing is like
I've tried to use.
if you want to write for new prompts, like you don't know which ones will blow up.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, and then like like there's no guarantee you get feedback regardless. Yeah. A lot of times you just get
Yeah, I think that's the
upvote.
value of writing groups.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, because I've tried a few online platforms where theoretically people will give you feedback, but I feel like that's almost never happened because it's just too many people who want to write and zero people who want to give feedback for free. So I feel like that's the value of a live writing group that I see for people who are like really committed to writing, especially sci-fi, right? There's a lot of very famous writers who come from very niche writing groups like Clarion and things like that, where they can really improve by being around people of the same or above level.
But did George or I tell you last time we joined like a writing group?
Oh, this sounds familiar, but I forgot a lot of details.
Yeah, it was
we only
organized
went to
by-
one.
Oh, well, wait. I know I went to a few. I guess.
Oh,
you
really?
weren't
I only
there
went to
or-
one session. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but anyway, like it was organized by George's friend, and then. Yeah, just people like so she just came up with like. It's like topics. Can I say topics?
Yeah. Topics.
Basically, like she came up with a direction that we had to follow during that particular session, and then everyone just goes around critiquing each other's work. Yeah. So I found that quite.
How did you find it?
I found it quite helpful. Like it was quite fun actually. But it was a really small group. Like I don't know. I guess maybe like 6 or 7 of us only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's fine. Like if there were too many people, like it would take too long to get through everybody's writings.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start a
lasted.
writing group.
Yeah, I mean you can do like an online one.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
just hang out on Discord while writing.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, which makes sense, right? I think it's also the time pressure of having to sit for an hour to write and pencils up kind of thing. But why did the group cease to be or you stop going?
Because that time I was living in Ampang, and then the group was held in Taman Tun, and it was like at night, so like I had to rush from work to get there, and then after a while it kind of became a chore.
Yeah. I have
That's my
commitments like that
excuse.
too, where oh no, I also have commitments like that where it's sort of like the commute drove me crazy, and I was like, oh, I don't think I can do this every single week, and then
Yeah.
yeah, so maybe now is the time to do an online writing group.
Yeah, I mean now like we
But I
all
think I
kind of
prefer
have
to
like the
work on my own
chance.
thing, not on someone else's prompt.
You prefer to what?
Oh, work on my own projects or writing projects or whatever instead of following a prompt for the day or something.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
I mean, a
that's
prompt
fine.
just takes you like an hour.
Yeah.
Yes, like look at it, it's like a little, like a bonus writing,
Mm-hmm.
like that deviates from what you would normally write. So I guess it's good practice too, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to do. You don't have to work on a prompt. Like you can just do something of your own, but you just need to
Oh, okay.
allocate like a certain day or certain time of day or X amount of hours a week to focus on writing. As long as you're doing writing, you're making some progress. Like that's the main thing. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, we can do that. I think it's a good idea.
Just add. I feel like it's a great idea.
Yeah. Add it to the
Oh, but it's
list.
always like, oh, we're adding another. So speaking of like, this is another topic. I feel like the number of projects I have always growing. It like never shrinks. But the things getting done is not increasing.
Yeah.
So while my gut impulse is always to say yes to doing another thing, I've learned that I should be careful about agreeing to another thing, even though I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like how I mean now that George you've started a job, I
Mm-hmm.
might be starting a new job. I don't know. Fingers crossed. I also feel like I'm trying to figure out how to optimize my time to
If you start, will you
anticipate for
be
that.
starting from here, working online, or
Yeah.
would you have to work American hours?
Possibly, yes. I think so.
Then your sleep
I'll
schedule is
be
gonna be
doing I'll
like
be pulling a
upside
singing.
down. Yeah. Well, Singap's
Yeah.
working Malaysian hours.
Learn to nap.
Oh, to nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but on the other hand, I sort of like don't want because this is usually what happens, right? Like there's a lot of great ideas and things you want to do when you have a time, and then the moment there is a real job, oh, the creativity dies, which is super lame, right? Because
Yeah.
you spend so long, and then it's sort of like I know if I reflect upon how I spend my time, I get a lot of value out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think this goes back to like how to not be tired because I feel like George, you're less affected by tiredness somehow.
That's not true. I sleep a lot, so if I don't have to wake up early, I sleep in, and I don't know, maybe that keeps me powered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe if you're bored of doing one thing, like be productive in another thing. Yeah. Like for me, I have music and writing and art, so like I guess I you have a variety of things. I'm not just focusing on one thing. Maybe that helps with not feeling tired. Who knows? I don't know.
So you switch between projects.
No, I keep all going, but like how much time I dedicate to each one varies. Yeah. Like right now, I've been writing songs on my guitar, but it's not my main focus. So I just do it when I have the kick. Like I feel like I can make some progress on a certain song. Then I spend time on it. If not, I just practice playing guitar, but I don't write. Yeah. So I guess for writing, maybe you could split time between practicing writing and working on your world and writing the story itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's again what happens with me is I push each project like 1 inch and 1 inch and 1 inch, and then like it doesn't go anywhere unless I know I have a deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think that's like where I can see the like something like a creative story sort of thing. I often can't convince myself to keep going because the negative part of my mind would go, well, yeah, who's gonna publish this? Then it kind of falls apart. So I think like that's where, I mean, obviously nowadays you can just Kindle self-publish and make a book and make your own cover. It's fine. Like, but like I think that's the part where I need to be able to see the end in mind for a project before I can actually keep it going.
Set yourself.
You
so I'm just saying that if I write this book, you guys have to pay me money.
As in, like, you need to see, like, it has to be
That will motivate me.
commercially successful. Is that what
I
you're
think
trying
that's
to say?
the right, which is kind of messed up because there's a lot of people that I really love, whose work I really love, that are not what you would define as commercially successful at all. And I know that successful writers don't count on that at all.
Okay.
So why do I count on that? But yeah, I know in the back of my head, I have to make it count somehow by guaranteeing that people are going to read it. Like, it should theoretically used to satisfy myself, but in reality, it doesn't work that way. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, how do you, like, is it wrong to want to write to be successful? Like, are you, like, selling out already?
No, it's not.
I know. I haven't even.
It's not wrong to want to do that.
Is it a wrong motivation? Like, like, I'm not doing this for the right reasons. Like, sometimes when I try to write now, I'm like, no, I'm just trying to like write and sound clever for no reason other than just to show that I can do it. As opposed to like really writing a story because you really like the idea.
I feel you should write a story because you like the idea. I don't think anyone can write to be successful. Yeah, like you could set up a story to be the most successful in the world, but there's no guarantee it's gonna be success, So because there's no guarantee, you might as well just write what you like. Yeah. I mean, you already have a job as a writer, so that's writing for a living. Like, I don't know. To aim to be like the next Neil Gaiman is delusional, especially when you have nothing.
What?
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you have nothing out there, and you're not planning to publish anything unless you have the perfect thing out, which that's impossible. Unless you're
But yeah, that's how most people think, actually.
So like
no one wants to put bad stuff out there, right? Like when you need to put something out there, like it has to be like, well, for me, it has to be perfect. At least to me, like I need to feel like
okay, sure. I mean, you don't have to put it out there, but you have to at least do some writing. You're not gonna write like one and only one perfect novel, But you do need to.
But I think it's like finding. Oh, go on.
No, you just need to keep writing and writing and writing until there's a piece you're happy with. But you're not even doing the writing part at the moment. You're just putting out outlines, and that's not writing, You need.
Well, I would argue that is writing more than what I'm doing. But like, well, I'm glad we're talking about it because I think I was stuck for a long time because I thought, like, I don't work well when I don't get feedback from people about how to change it or whatever, or like at least some acknowledgement that this thing exists. I have created it. So, and I felt like, like no one wants to read it unless it's finished, and therefore I get stuck because it's like no feedback for too long. But now I'm like, okay, I just send it to you, and you guys can, and I'll bug you every once in a while.
Yeah,
at least there's some audience.
And
Yeah.
I feel it's even better to get feedback like along with the writing process, because when we have like just like 5 chapters, it's easier to process than like one full novel at one go. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's because like we have this idea of like the invisible novelist who like writes and types up this whole stack and then gives the whole stack to the reviewers. And it's all done. But
That's
maybe
what we
that's not
see in
true, because they do
movies.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even me,
I'm telling you, it's all the Hank.
like even Animal Bus, like when I went back to edit it after finishing the draft, I was like, holy fuck, this is like so daunting, It's what, 50,000 words or something. And it's crazy. Yeah, like I think if I sat down and just edited it once a week during the process while I was writing it, that would have been like way easier to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I
Cool.
mean, I'm not saying
Alright.
I have the answers because I'm not a accomplished writer or some novelist, but this is my opinion on like how this should go. Yeah. But yeah, I always believe it's better to do some work than nothing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll end this stream with one of those Tim Ferriss questions.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this one's actually a really hard one. How has failure or apparent failure set you up for later success? Have I already asked this one? This sounds familiar. Do you have
No.
a favorite failure?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what's an example of failure that actually turned out to be a good thing?
I guess like flunking out of ADP was a good thing. But why I can't say that it's led to success, but it has at least led me to where I am today, which is not a bad place, I suppose. Like it allowed me to write for a living. Yeah, I like writing, so that's good, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
For me, I don't know. Being like super unsuccessful with girls when I was younger. Like I experienced loads of failure, back then, and it wasn't until like my first girlfriend where I started understanding how to understand relationships. And but before that, like all the failures, I guess, set me up for the success. And it was because I was like failing that I was willing to try stuff like game theory and basically resorting to advice from people about like improving confidence, like and all that stuff, as well as like going out on dates with people. You learn what not to do, how to read people and whatnot, human interaction basically. Yeah. I mean, I'm not the most
We already have.
charming person I know now, but I think I'm adequate.
We already have a viewer feedback about what you said. Edmund said, "Don't lie, George. Lying is a sin."
What am I lying about? Oh, thanks for tuning
I guess
in,
what you
Edmund.
just said.
A loyal listener.
Yeah, I think
Loyal viewer.
Edmund has tuned in for like every show, so thanks, man.
Oh, actually, this warms my heart way more than you realize. Gosh, I have a much simpler failure. I was telling my friend earlier today that I remember I went to a Chinese school when I was young, and I completely failed because I did none of the homework. And to be frank, I don't understand why I didn't do it. I think at some point I just couldn't catch up, and then I built up so many of the undone assignments that it was just like an entire book or something,
Yeah.
especially over the summer. Yeah, and then I think my parents decided that okay, well then we'll just put her in a white people's school where they don't give homework.
Yeah.
That was the solution.
They don't?
So that's how I speak English. Huh?
We got homework.
Yeah, well,
There you go.
oh, okay. Well, it was some Australian international school that didn't give any homework at all.
Oh.
That's so good.
Yeah, it was so sweet. It was all about art and bullshit.
Yeah.
But yes, but then I was thinking, gosh, there's an alternative timeline where I don't speak English at all,
Yeah.
and this whole other person
Uh-huh.
that lived on in the multiverse. So yeah, so I feel like that inadvertently my failure led to success, but yeah, but that was the first one I thought of. It's an early failure.
Okay.
That's about being a school dropout.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. What about you, Singip? Oh wait, what do you want? Did you? Clearly,
Yeah.
I'm a very great listener. I'm so tired. Okay.
All right. I guess we have no questions from the viewers. Any questions? We'll wait like a
We
minute.
have a few viewers today, unless those are again you guys.
No, it's me, you, Edmund, and probably 2 bots.
Oh, what are the bots for?
No
We're
idea.
just scanning for data.
Yeah. They're tracking
Oh,
us.
okay.
Yeah.
Great. They're probably scraping our face and putting us into the database.
Yeah. It's okay.
Probably used for like some advert for Zoom or something. Chat with your friends
Okay.
now.
We're online though.
Doesn't matter, right? They can use whatever images you like.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm a local girl in your area. Quality decline. Okay. Well, okay, I guess that's it for now. Thanks for getting us to do it again. Okay, we have a habit. So I think we should need to be consistent
Oh
about
yeah.
timing.
There's one thing I forgot. I wanted to mention. Earlier when talking about building habits. So I listened to this on a podcast. Basically, it said the easiest way to build a habit is to make something as easy as possible to do. So, like for example, they did research that like people were more likely to like keep going to gyms if it was like I don't know less than 5 miles away, compared to like people who went to gyms that were further away, and a whole bunch of
I must be the exception.
a whole bunch of stuff lah. Basically, you like in order to form a good habit, you set up conditions to make it as easy as possible to accomplish. So like yeah, if you want to write more as a habit, find a way to make it easier for yourself, and so on. Like don't make it as troublesome as possible to do. So it's the same thing with breaking habits. Like if you make it difficult, for example, like if I want to quit smoking, maybe I'll give my cigarettes to my mom and say I'll only give it to me like when I ask for it, but keep them locked up or something like that. I don't know. I mean, but so if it's tedious, I don't want to wake her up for a cigarette, then I will smoke less, something like that. But like yeah, I'll link the podcast in the show notes. Forgot what it was called already, but it was a really informative one about breaking and building good habits, breaking bad habits and building good habits. Yeah.
What does that have to do with our showtime?
No, not the showtime. Back then when you're talking about like
oh, okay, yeah.
being disciplined, not being lazy and trying to write more often. Yeah, you turn it into
so
a
I
good
feel like
habit.
it would help me. Right, it would help me to make this podcast a better habit if we do it in consistent time, because then I would know to not be tired. So I was wondering, how about we set this to be 4 p.m. Saturday? Is that doable for you guys?
Yeah.
Or is it like not doable once MCO lifts? You're like, what, 4 p.m. on Saturday?
Well, I mean, usually I'm
There's
out on weekends.
no guarantee.
Yeah, after MCO, I'm not sure, but I mean, for now, while it's still going on, sure, I don't mind. I'm okay.
You
Okay.
better hope that they extend it then. We keep doing this.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Well, at this rate, it might just get extended again. So.
probably. Yeah.
All right, my goal is to finish my short story by the MCO ends at least.
Okay.
At
Oh.
least, at least that way I can say I
Okay.
came out of it with like something, you know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, I love it.
Yep. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in for another episode of Evening
Yeah,
Joe.
thank you.
We're on episode 5 already. You know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's like
It is.
Like and
one
subscribe.
month.
we
What?
did something 5 times.
Yeah. Right. Have a good week, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.